Shedeur Sanders admits he has not gotten any first team reps.
92.3 The Fan here in Cleveland had a really interesting phone call this morning.
And Myles Garrett publicly defends Shedeur Sanders as quarterback. So much to talk about on Tuesday morning. Drive time. Hello. And we're reacting to some media clips. We kind of teed it up there a little bit, but obviously we're still talking Browns. We're still talking Shedeur Sanders. Noah, there has been so much said both locally and nationally at this point because he finally got in there, and yet we look as clueless as ever in our strategy for this team.
Yeah, I mean it's as clear as day. You got two rookie quarterbacks as your main two options at the quarterback position. What else do you expect other than to look clueless? I want to get into the nitty gritty of this. I want to get all the small talk out of the way now because ESPN, like the ESPN, had stuff to say about this. ESPN Cleveland, 92.3 The Fan. We went all over the place. So I want to get into the first clip from ESPN. This was from I don't remember it. Wake Up, maybe? I forget now. Get Up. What is that show called? You watch ESPN
Get
more than
up.
I. Get Up. I'm pretty sure this was Get Up. Let me roll the clip.
That was obviously a mess in so many different ways, and it feels like a bit of an organizational failure. You don't need to have been a quarterback in the NFL to see that he didn't look ready to play at all. He has been the backup quarterback there for a while now, and it looked from the moment he ran out onto the field, it looked like they had no conceivable chance.
Yeah, I mean, obviously he saw things that he's never seen before when it comes to pressures, and he's felt speed that he's never felt before when it comes to Baltimore's defense. I know there's been a lot been made about no snaps with or practice reps with the first team, the starters. I think that's more common than people anticipate. I would go weeks as the backup quarterback, weeks, if not months, without taking a single rep with our starting
but
offense.
you were sort of a seasoned veteran backup who was there for that reason because you didn't need snaps and they could throw you in case of trouble. This is a rookie who's never taken a snap in an NFL game.
It's also a rookie who's playing in front of him, who's only been playing for 6 games or so. So you're trying to get him ready. I don't think it's the perfect signs. Do I think it's odd that Shedeur hasn't had a single snap of practice rep? Yes. But I don't think it's something where everyone's making it out to be like, oh my gosh, he should be splitting reps with Dillon Gabriel.
So that was our friend Dan Orlovsky that we dug into last week for some of his takes, and he had some choice words about our Ohio State Buckeyes that we didn't even get into here on the page. But Erik, what was your reaction? There was a lot to take in there. They made it seem more messy than you and I thought about not having a chance to win, a conceivable chance. But break down what your thoughts are off the rip.
Well, first of all, before I get into Orlovsky's take, the fact that Rex Ryan's nodding his head about the dysfunction when he ran the Jets and when they were as dysfunctional as ever under him, like, come on, get out of here. But as far as Orlovsky's take, it is odd because he hasn't gotten any throughout training camp, throughout the season. Like, I get what he's saying as it pertains to the regular season, but Dillon Gabriel was getting first team reps even when Joe Flacco, correct me if I'm wrong, even when he was under center, Dillon Gabriel was still getting some of those first team reps. So how
Yep.
can you say one thing like that and then it's not, I mean, it's not the case at all. So clearly there's some favoritism being played here by Kevin Stefanski. We've been clear on that.
Yeah, I think this is very situational too. You had one of the McCown brothers, I forget, it wasn't Josh, Jake, I forget what the other one's name is, come out and say how as a backup, he never got reps as a backup with the ones. So this situation, like the blow up of proportion with it doesn't make sense. But to me, this is completely situational. It's not like Shedeur Sanders has been a career backup, a career player ready to rock and roll and get out there and play. We're talking about a rookie, a raw, fresh, not a first rounder, not a second rounder. We're talking about your backup quarterback is a 5th round pick that is an ankle tweak, or as we saw on Sunday afternoon, a concussion away from going out there. So to me, I get where some of these bigger people who have been there are saying this and saying that it's the norm for him to not get it, but it still feels malpractice like to me because of the situation you're in. You didn't have to put yourself in this situation. You had Joe Flacco on this roster. You had Kenny Pickett. If you didn't want to have 2 rookies at your first and second string, you could have had the ability to not do that. But you did this to yourself. So you got to make sure to an extent, of course, you want to keep Dylan Gabriel as ready as possible because he was the starter, but you got to have Shedeur at least a little ready, man.
I would think, again, I don't think they have any conceivable plan. It's like plans of plans of plan. Like there's nothing here. There is literally nothing here. And the fact that you have a front office that is, I mean, everyone is clueless in this situation. It's unbelievable to me. I am excited, although we'll see, but supposedly there's a 99.99% chance that he'll be starting next Sunday, meaning he gets a week of reps and of practice, and it'll be amazing to see what a difference that could possibly make for him.
Yeah, I'm ready to see him with a full week of practice and go out there. I think that's what we all want the next step to be anyway, is to see that with Shador and see what happens against a easier team to go up against than a division rival at halftime like he did. And I'm not making excuses for the kids. We've already talked about how there was some good, there was some bad, there was some ugly in yesterday's video. So go check that out if you haven't. That was our knee-jerk reaction out of everything that went down after that Browns Ravens game, during that Browns Ravens game. To me, I think Dan actually summed this up perfectly, where he was like, yeah, I was a backup and I never got reps with the first team, but it's also strange to me that this kid who is a rookie has not. I think he summed it up perfectly in his take, where he was at first hard on the one side and then was like, well, yeah, you're kind of right. He's a rookie. This is the situation they're in. He should be a little more prepared, to have a little more oomph given to him aside from practice squad reps and extra team reps after practice, which Kevin Stefanski likes to talk about like he's invented the greatest thing sliced bread with that.
Listen, Kevin Stefanski's whole game plan is we've got to do better. Beyond that, recognizing that they have to do better, it's just like air bubbles up there. It's when somebody's texting you back and you're waiting and it's just the dots and you're waiting and you're waiting and nothing comes. That's Kevin Stefanski at this point. So to expect there to be a plan for Shedeur Sanders, I'm not surprised. I mean, are you honestly?
No, I'm not surprised at all. Let's kick it over to ESPN Cleveland because I believe they echo some of our same sentiments and add some more to this conversation as well.
The way the Browns handled Shedeur Sanders is exactly why he looked like what he looked like yesterday. Is part of it his fault? Sure. He played awful. Shedeur holds on to the ball too long. Well, guess what? That's what he does poorly. He also throws the ball better than Gabriel. Okay, he does. And by the way, he was also a catch away from tying that game for as bad as he looked. A couple of things. He's a neglected player. You bury the kid on your depth chart, and you don't give him any reps, and then if you know what he's doing wrong, it's called coaching. You got to coach him not to take the sacks. You got to coach him to be able to throw the ball away. The problem is, kid didn't get any reps. He admitted the first time he threw a ball to Jerry Jeudy was yesterday at the stadium.
Let me jump in real quick because I'm just going to throw a quick shot at ESPN Cleveland because I swear you compare all the different media voices that are here in the land and they give me the TMZ style treatment every time with the laugh track in the
I was
background
gonna
and the
jump on the
ditzy
laugh track. Like,
music.
come on.
It's just like, what are we doing, man? And it's
I'm with
names
you,
that have
man.
been here forever too. And I know Tony Rizzo and whatnot don't have the most clout of being right and have the most popularity with our fan base, but they've been here forever. Why are we putting a laugh track on a radio show? Anyway, go ahead.
I'm not sure. I don't really get it either, to be honest with you. So, yeah, I'm completely with you. I that's the first thing. It's funny because that's literally the first thing that I was gonna say as well. Because it's just so bad.
Right. It's hilarious. That was
Um, Sorry, we got
just
to cheese it up. He's doing something right, obviously, as an audience. Listen, he's right though in what he's saying. He First of all, I don't think he looked that bad. He looked like a rookie. And to Rizzo's point, he threw a game-tying touchdown ball. Gage Larvidan just didn't bring it in. That happens. That's football. That's life. Yes, he had that pick that was terrible. I'm not even sure what that read was there, or what that throw was. But there's a key point here that I really like from Rizzo, and it's that he can throw the ball. He has arm strength. What Dylan Gabriel doesn't have is exactly that. He's got to use his entire body to throw it 10 yards, and then it
And
might
it's a
still go in the
duck.
dirt. Yeah,
And it's a
or it's a
duck.
duck, right? Exactly. Uh, but clearly, Shedeur, like he has the arm strength. Everything else, absolutely correct. Yes, he holds on to the ball too long. Yes, he needs to learn to throw the ball away. Like, yes, yes, yes. We've talked about these things. Yes, he needs to be coached. He needs live reps. He needs practice reps. He needs everything he's not getting, the support he's not getting. Because I'll tell you this about Shedeur Sanders, he works his tail off. He's not afraid to put in the work, but somebody's got to work with him.
Yeah, and it can't just be his own personal QB coaches or people that he's worked with through his father or whatever that looks like. It's absurd because if you watch the game, you see that the talent's there. You see the flashes. And that's game 1 with zero prep in his game plan, no game plan towards him. You got to see the flashes. And
Yeah.
I'm not trying to ride his coattails because it was a 4-13 game. He threw a pick. It was not pretty. But there were things there that you could take away and want to see more of. Want to see 10 times more of than what we've seen with Dylan Gabriel through 5.5, his 6 games, whatever. If Shadeur's not the answer, that's fine. But he looks like he has the ability to be an answer 10 times more than Dylan Gabriel does right now. And that's off of an eye test, off of a half of game on real live reps in the NFL.
I'll say this, I'm not sure either of them are the answer, and I know
Right.
that's what you're saying. But yeah, you're exactly right. He has the athleticism to extend plays and potentially make something happen, even if that is with his feet. We saw that. I don't like that typically out of my quarterback. I prefer Lamar Jackson, what he's been doing lately because of injury. Josh Allen, I like Patrick Mahomes. They're all good examples. Like they are passer first mentality, but they also hurt you with their legs in smart moments. But they avoid the hits. That's the thing. Uh, but he has that ability to extend plays that frankly Dylan Gabriel just doesn't have. Like I'm not sure, and it's not fair. We keep comparing Dylan Gabriel. It's only because those are our two quarterbacks.
No, we're not doing you can't say it's not fair. It's totally fair. They put us in this situation, Eric. They
Yeah,
put
but
us
Dylan
put
didn't. What
That's
exactly
fine.
what Shedeur said yesterday when he has to go out there with the pressure and not being confident because of the fans. Dylan didn't choose that. This team, this coaching, this front office did. So, yeah, a little bit it's unfair, but it's also the NFL. It's your job. You got to go out and perform. Are either of these guys put in the best spot to do that? No, I don't think
No.
they are.
No, that's the thing. Like I agree with what Shador said yesterday during his presser about not throwing Dylan under the bus. The fans need to be, a little more lenient with him when he's out there doing his thing or whatnot, which is fair. I don't think the booze and all of that is exactly directed towards him because they want Shador. It's more so because of the product we've seen out of him.
Yeah.
Um, this is a good bridge to go into our 92.3, the fan clip that I referenced earlier, because it's a lot to do with one Dylan Gabriel.
Pause real quick because we were both at the game, but we were sitting in different sections. I was booing, but how I felt while I was booing, like just to be completely honest, was that I was booing the coaching staff and the decisions being made. It wasn't really directed at Dylan Gabriel. That's how I felt anyway.
My boos that were directed towards Dylan Gabriel, I feel like were just like when there was a play when we were in the red zone. He missed Jerry Judy. He was wide open. He took too long to find Jerry Judy, threw it at like his feet. It was and then we kicked a field goal. But then there's other examples of me booing just because we go 3 and out and it just doesn't look like inspiring play calling. So it was a mixed bag, but to me, it's more just. And at the same time, like when Dylan would do something good, whether that be a rush or I can't remember exactly every play right now off the top of my head, but there were multiple times where I was also cheering for him and said, okay, Dylan, I see you. I see you a little bit.
Yeah.
Obviously, that didn't amount to much, but here we are. Here we are, and here we're talking about it.
Well,
Let's
that's
see
a
what
good
92.
segue.
Yeah, let's see what 92.3 The Fan has to say about everything going on with Dylan Gabriel and Shador Sanders.
Tell you, Dylan Gabriel wins you that football game yesterday.
You positive about that?
Look at the stats,
Are
man.
you positive
mean,
about that? Are you
all
trying to?
you
Are
needed
you
to do,
trolling me? Are you really
Ken,
trolling me,
Ken,
Max? Max?
Ken,
Max?
Ken, look
Max?
at that first half, Ken. Look at that first half.
Yeah, what
All you
about that
needed to
first
What
do,
did
half?
Dylan Gabriel do in
What
the
about
first
that
half?
first half?
all you needed to do was take care of the football in that second half and play with the lead. We threw an interception. We turned the ball over multiple times with Shedeur at quarterback.
Uh-huh.
Are you really, after watching that, thinking that Shedeur Sanders is the future of this franchise with a week of practice,
No.
with 2 weeks of practice?
No.
No, but nobody was saying that.
Nobody was
But you're
saying
making
any
two
of these
different
things.
arguments. You're saying Dylan
Yeah.
Gabriel would have given them a shot to win. They just
No.
would have punted the ball back to.
Yeah, Max.
They would have kept giving Lamar Jackson opportunities.
Yeah, you'd have the ball.
Punts. Okay. I had to
Yeah,
get it out.
exactly. We just listened to 2 professional radio broadcasts. The first one has cheesy sound effects. The second one could use a pop filter so bad. Like, what are these guys doing? I don't understand. Like, we were at home and our setups sound better. Shout out Jeff out there that's running the fan. I still like you, and you can hire us if you want. Moving on though. This fan is absolutely nuts. Like, what? I agree with Ken here. What exactly did you see in the first half that would lend you to believe that Dylan Gabriel's going out there to win you the football game? That's a
Yeah.
crazy take. And
That's
it's not
absolutely
saying that Shedeur gave you a better chance. I'm not saying that because no, he didn't look very good. I think the chances were pretty much equally bad. No matter which quarterback you trotted out there, because I don't see the outcome any differently had Dylan Gabriel stayed healthy.
Neither do I. I thought this call was asinine, and Ken was 100% correct to be out there and say, like, are you trolling me right now? Because I felt like I was being trolled watching that clip on 92.3 The Fans account. Because what are we even doing? Why are we even doing this? And this goes back to what I was saying earlier, that, yes, I agree with Shedeur Sanders and that we need to not give Dylan extra pressure because it's not fair to him. It makes Shedeur look like a distraction. It doesn't help the team win games. But they did this to themselves, they being the Browns front office and coaching staff, by drafting 2 rookie quarterbacks, the second of which being a polarizing figure. I mean, you can look at the team shop. My seats were right by the team shop. You know how many 12 jerseys they have hanging up in there right now, being sold currently at this time?
A lot.
A lot. The whole kids section is 12 jerseys because that's what's selling. So of course we want to see him. Oh, it's so frustrating.
You know who we can't get on a jersey?
Who?
One, Schweschinger. We talked about this. Like, can't get it anywhere. It's too long of a name. That's crazy.
Yeah, when we were doing our Muni Lot show, we had fans talking about like what jerseys they want, and they were like Carson Schlesinger. We were like, yeah, no, not happening, not gonna happen. I was telling the Ravens fans in front of us, shout out those guys. I don't have their X in front of me. I'm gonna be doing some collab stuff with them soon. They talk Ravens, they talk Orioles and whatnot. But they were surprised that Schlesinger jerseys wouldn't be printed because the name is too long. It sounds like such a missed opportunity for money, but.
Crazy take. But yeah, to your point, it's such a crazy take. Like, how could you have watched several weeks of football with Dylan Gabriel at this point and think, yeah, that's the guy that gives us a better chance to win? Like,
Well, that's what
I can't
Kevin
even say that
Stefanski
with
would
a
tell you
straight
if he was at a
face.
presser.
Well,
If it comes Wednesday and Dylan Gabriel looks like he's going to be cleared from concussion protocol, he's going to sit up there and say, well, guys, I just think he gives us the best chance to win against the Raiders on Sunday. So we're going to trot Dylan Gabriel out there and good luck.
fire him immediately. Don't even let him leave the dais of the press conference. Like, oh my gosh.
Anything else? Actually, we do have the Myles bit of this as well, but is there anything else? I know it feels like we're being tribalistic and trying to pit Dylan Gabriel and Shedeur against each other, and that's not fair to them, but it's also the situation the Browns put themselves in. This whole thing is a mess. I swear we are the best soap opera in all of sports, not to our, entertainment, but to the rest of the league, the rest of the fans who don't care about what we do. This has got to be entertaining to watch.
It is so improbable for us to be this bad and this dysfunctional for this long. Like,
Yep.
think of the odds of that for the past 26 years. This is what we've been dealing with. 26 years.
The Jags are also an expansion franchise around the same time as us, and they've at least been to an AFC championship. I'm not saying that that's much better, but that is better than what we got going
It
on.
is better, and you know what? That Leonard Fournette-led team looked good. They just happened to run into a Tom Brady-led Patriots team. So,
Saxonville, baby. Saxonville.
yeah, that was a good team, but yeah, the machine marched on, as it does, and I believe went to win a Super Bowl that year.
I
I
believe so. I believe you're right. Myles Garrett had some interesting words to say about the whole Shedeur situation. Let's hear what he had to say.
And just tell him to keep his head up. I know there was one drive in which he kind of walked off, and I saw him. He was putting his head down. I know he was kind of thinking about, I know he wants to make the play. He wants to, have that game changing drive because, he feels like he has that ability, and we've seen it. So, don't be discouraged from one drive or two drives. It's a good football team over there. So, just trying to keep him to keep his confidence high, and keep on chasing that standard in which he set. And we're going to continue to support him. He spoke after the game, and he wanted to pin it on himself and his performance, but we're not going to allow him to do that. It's a team game, so we're all in this together.
I said he addressed the entire team in the locker room after the game.
So Shedeur Sanders, after his first half of football, addressed the team in the locker room after the game. I have a big takeaway here, Erik, but I want to know what yours is first.
First of all, I gotta say, this is what, again, and I'll echo my sentiments from yesterday. This is what I like about Shedeur Sanders. That shot of him after the game when he's just sitting on the bench, disappointed in himself. His former Colorado teammate and current Ravens player comes over and kind of consoles him. I like that because this kid has heart. That's what I'm seeing here. He has heart. He wants to do better. And by the way, the fact that he has the best player on the team rallying for him, his support. I've never heard Myles Garrett talk about that or like that about any quarterback that I can recall. He has the leadership in the locker room right now. How can you not enjoy that despite the results?
Erik, that's my main takeaway right there. Have we heard Myles talk about this with Dylan Gabriel? Any of the quarterbacks last year? The last time I really remember him talking like this was the Joe Flacco run, and a little bit this year early on because everybody was on the Flacco train yet again. Flacco Mania was back for about 2 weeks here in Cleveland. If you missed it, it was a bad reunion. It was straight to DVD, and it got shipped off into a third-party seller very quick. But it was here. I promise you. You could go back and watch it. It was there. It wasn't pretty. But I haven't seen Myles Garrett talk and be like this in the media for one of the quarterbacks since Joe Flacco, since when him and Baker were cool for 4 minutes before Baker became a head case in the locker room. I mean, that tells you everything you need to know about what this team, not the coaches, not the GMs, not Jimmy, not whoever, think about him. They think it's in there.
Yeah, and I hope they're right, but we still do need to see it on the field.
Oh,
And
100%.
again, this is a half of football that the poor kid, and when I say poor, I don't mean financially because risks up, but the poor kid was not prepared. He was not prepared for the NFL and the speed of the game and what he was facing there to try to come back and win. Like there's no other way to put it. So people being really harsh on Shedeur Sanders yesterday morning, today, they should keep that in mind because he was like being thrown to the wolves. And I don't think we watch college football, we watch Ohio State, and people joke, could Ohio State beat the Browns? The fact is, no, they would be killed. They'd be decimated, like decimated. So I
Yes,
don't think people
100%.
realize the difference in speed between even the best programs in college football, which Colorado was not, by the way, the best programs in college football and the NFL. There's a steep learning curve. The guys like Daniels in at Washington, that's rare. Like to come in as a rookie and do that, that's not a normal thing. It can happen, but he's thrown to the wolves without practice, without anything. And before we get the YouTube comment hate, because we got comments talking about how we hate on Shedeur, which is crazy. I mean, go watch the whole episode yesterday. But before we get that, I like him. I like what he stands for. I like how he has worked. He just needs to be better. but that's not really his fault at this point.
That's I couldn't have put it any better myself, man. Like I want to see him succeed. It's the same thing I said when Dylan first started getting his starts. I want to see him succeed. I want to see good quarterback play for the Cleveland Browns.
Yeah,
Do
no
I have
fan
more?
is rooting against these guys. Like, all we
No,
want is wins. Like,
I would be ecstatic if I was wrong about all of my comments about Dylan Gabriel, if that meant the Browns were they had their franchise quarterback in him. I would be ecstatic if I was right about Shedeur. I would be the thing is we just want good play at the end of the day.
you could trot out Deshaun Watson, and hear me out because not a fan.
I
But
draw the
hold
line.
on, hear me out. You could trot out Deshaun Watson if he starts winning and then takes you to a Super Bowl. That's literally all fans care about is winning.
Yeah,
Like,
I
that's it.
mean,
That's it.
you're not wrong. I'm on the record. I'm completely over Watson. I don't want to even see him step foot on
Agreed.
the field.
But
um, But yeah, you're not wrong in that take. You're also talking about the craziest of crazy things that probably will never happen. But
you know,
whole situation is going to continue to be more and more fun to talk about because that, like you said, it seems like Shedeur is going to be the starter against the Raiders, a game that I think is a much softer landing spot for Shedeur to play against, to learn, to see the field. Of course, there's Max Crosby. That's not easy, but there's plenty of other things going on there that could make that game a little bit more manageable for Shedeur on top of the week of practice. Uh, you've seen what the media has had to say. You've seen what some of our own players have had to say. Let's see what happens the rest of the week. We got the film breakdown coming up the rest of the week. We also have some other content coming out. So don't think the Shedeur, the Browns talk is quitting because it never quits here over at the office.
speaking of other teams or things that we talk about, we've been pushing something for weeks now, and that is the fact that we are giving away a jersey, and the time is here. We have a winner.
Yeah, let me pull it up and we will spin the wheel. Who is it going to be? And our winner of our jersey giveaway is Gabriel Lissi. We will contact you about getting your jersey, whether that be the Browns and Cavs. You can let us know. Congratulations on winning, and onward and upward to the Raiders and some other news going around in Cleveland sports for the rest of the week here at the office.
That's it for us. The debate never ends, but the show does for now. We'll see you next time.